Welcome back to Elevation 44. It's your girl B. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back, family. So, this past weekend was Valentine's Day, and it just got me to thinking it would be really fun, since we're in the month of love. In February, we're supposed to be celebrating love and putting that focus and highlight on love, that we kind of like zoom in and start talking a little bit about our love languages. Now, I'm not talking about the popular five love languages that everyone is so familiar with, which are the words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts, quality time, and physical touch. So I'm not talking about those 5 love languages. I'm talking about your personal love language based off of your Venus placement. So your Venus placement actually really truly gives you the real insight to your love language, how you like to express love and receive love. And also your Venus will tell you where your compatible Venus mate is. Like, do you guys speak the same love language? Will you get each other? And because a lot of the times if we have differing love languages, it can be hard when you're speaking 2 different languages to get on the same accord. Sometimes you feel unappreciated. Sometimes you don't see the things that your partner's doing for you because that's not the language that you speak, and that's the way that they express their love. So it's really, really important to be on the same accord when it comes to the Venus, or your Venus placement or your love language, or to just have a general understanding, even if you're not expressing the same type of love language, but to understand, because when you understand that person's love language, if you understand your own love language, then you can express those needs more clearly, and then it creates for more harmony in your relationship. So today what I want to go ahead and do is dive into your love language based off of your Venus placement, and also the compatibility with other Venus signs. Okay, so let's just get into an overview of Venus, and let's just talk about what Venus energy is in general, okay? So let me take a sip of my tea because I'm a little thirsty, and I am drinking the Taurus tea from my apothecary. So if you are interested in that, especially bringing in those love vibes, this is a great tea for that, and I'm gonna leave the link down in the description box. You can also tap into the Libra tea, and the Libra tea is also going to help you with bringing in those Venusian vibes as well. So if you have that, grab that and drink some tea with us as we go through this. And we'll talk about too how Venus, since it rules both Taurus and Libra, how it's expressed in those signs, okay? So let's just take a sip of tea and get started. So Venus is a benefic planet, and what a benefic planet is a planet that is supposed to bring abundance and lots of positive energy. So it's just supposed to be bringing in abundance and raining down blessings in the form of lots of positive things. It also shares the same quality with Jupiter, which is the other benefic planet, okay? So Venus is really about how you show love to others, and also how you like to receive love, how you want to be loved, right? It's also where things like you find pleasurable. So what do you find pleasurable is also indicated in your Venus placement. So this is also about who you attract, your values, your creativity, your wealth, and we're not going to focus on those other aspects. Again, we're just going to be talking about it in regards to how you give and receive love. So that's about the love language, right? So Venus rules Taurus, like I mentioned before, and it rules Libra, okay? So this is both also ruling over the 2nd house, which is our house of, resources or our possessions and our values, and then also over the 7th house, which is the house of partnerships, okay? Now, Taurus is the earth sign, so this is the more feminine expression of Venus's qualities, okay? So here, Venus expressed in Taurus is all about sensuality, it's all about luxury, it's all about magnetism and what you can attract, okay? So it's about attraction. This is just a very receptive and internal energy. It's like, again, that receiving, that feminine expression of Venus. Now, Libra is an air sign, so Venus energy here is really expressed more in a masculine sense. So this is expressed outwardly. It's about beauty and aesthetics, okay, because what you can see with the eye. It's about spending on material items. It's about your romantic interactions and projections, okay? So this is how Venus's energy is expressed in Libra, okay? Now in your chart, if you have Venus retrograding, and retrograding means when a planet is appearing to move backwards, where it's retracing its steps and going back. If you have Venus retrograde in your own personal chart, that means your Venus, the Venus traits here are more internalized instead of outwardly expressed, okay? So in love, for you, this particularly means that you can have a harder time finding a partner that meets your needs, okay? So this just can add a little level of challenge in terms of like finding partnerships or things that really click or sync up with you on that level. Now, when Venus is stationary, now Venus is stationary, usually, you know, it's if it's about to switch to go retrograde or it's switching to go direct, it is stationing. And that is for any planet, anytime they're changing motion, they're gonna station. Now, when a planet stations, it is said to be or appearing to be standing still, right? And when a station happens or when a planet is standing still, this is really more about concentrated energy, okay? So this is a powerful energy that's going to have more influence in your chart. So if you have a stationary planet, that planet is going to really affect you and really express itself in your energy, right? So when Venus is stationary in your chart, that means love and partnerships are really important to you. This is a big deal for you. It's a really big deal for you to connect with others. So you're going to want to also express that, or you're going to find yourself expressing that more personally, okay? Now, even though Venus is going to really influence how you react in love, you also want to look at some other placements in your chart to get more insight into also how you're going to react in love, right? So we're going to also want to look at our, you know, rising sign, because that is our outward personality, and that's usually where we find ourselves connecting with other like minds. It's really through the rising signs. A lot of people think it's the sun sign, but it's really through that outward personality of the rising sign. So that will also put you in sync with someone as well. And then you also want to look to your moon sign, because that also informs your internal needs and what you need internally to feel safe and secure and at ease, okay? So you're definitely gonna wanna look at those placements as well to get an overall picture. And then lastly, you're gonna wanna look at the house that Venus is placed in, because that is also going to add another dimension of how your love is expressed or how you expect to, you know, receive love. So this is gonna inform your love language as well. So when it comes to speaking the same love language and looking to another Venus placement to see if you're compatible, we wanna definitely group these together by elements, because when we have Venuses in the same element of like earth, air, water, or fire, this is usually indicative of someone who is in your same love language group, that you express your love language in a similar fashion and are more likely to understand each other, okay? So in the same element means better compatibility when it comes to your love languages, okay? So you also share that feminine or masculine expression of love, and that's what really informs like that compatibility aspect to it. So air and fire are the masculine expressions of energy, so those are going to be compatible together, and also water and earth are the more feminine expressions of energy, so those tend to be more compatible together. So I went and grabbed a sweater because I am freezing. It is so cold. There's so much snow on the ground here. But let's go ahead and get into Venus in the earth signs now that we have a nice little overview of Venus in totality when it comes to our love language, okay? So Venus in the earth signs, what are the shared traits or, you know, love language flow that is going through all of the earth signs here. So Venus in the earth signs is all about commitment, sensuality, and sensitivity, okay? So again, this is the feminine, more feminine expressions of Venus, and we're gonna get into the most feminine expression of all, which is Venus in Taurus. So remember, Venus rules Taurus, so it's very at home here. This particular placement is my favorite placement of Venus. If you have Venus in Taurus, if you know someone, you have a partner with Venus in Taurus, oh my gosh, you're in for such a real treat. Now, this energy is expressed as sensuality, commitment, security, comfortability, beauty, and protectiveness. It's just about creating that comfort, you know, luxurious, sensual, warm, fuzzy experience. Now, that is how your love language is generally just expressed, okay? Just on all the creature comforts and just stimulating all of the senses and all of that good stuff. But this energy, if you have this placement, you tend not to open up, you know, as some of the other signs are when it comes to love. Like, you don't just jump right in, you kind of take your time. It takes you a while to feel it out because there needs to be a sense of security and safety present in order for you to fully open yourself, or for someone with that energy to fully open themselves up in love. So while they take their time getting in, once they do, oh my gosh, like it's such a beautiful expression of Venus's qualities, okay? So this love love language is expressed through stimulating the senses. So you like to have your senses stimulated. You also like to stimulate other people's senses. So it's creating those sensual experiences where sound, sight, touch, taste, smell, all of that comes into play with those experiences, okay? Now, you like to create a comfortable environment, or you like to have a comfortable environment where everyone feels safe. So this is how you express love as well. Cuddles and just wanting to spend quality time with your loved ones is definitely high up on that list, okay? Commitment and loyalty is extremely important, and you want the person to be all in because you're all in, and that's why it takes you a while to warm up to a situation, and you need to also feel highly valued in whatever situation that you're in, okay? Protection or safety is valued because, again, there's that deep need for security. And the only flip side to this energy is that Venus in Taurus can express its love as possessiveness because it gets so protective, you know what I mean? That it can come off as possessiveness, like, this is mine, this is my comfort, my safety, my person, like, you know? So that is one thing, you know, you definitely need to keep in mind with this. Your ideal Venus placement partner is Venus in Cancer, okay? And we'll talk about that in a second. Let's move right in to Venus in Capricorn, which is the next earth sign, right? So Venus in Capricorn is, if I had to put an overall, you know, I don't know, word or thing on this, it's like cautious love. You know what I mean? Shy and cautious love. But this love is expressed through sensuality also through ambition, practicality, and is also very romantic. This is a very romantic placement for Venus, but not in the traditional sense, okay? So the love language here, or the way that love is expressed and wanting to be received here, is knowing what they want from a relationship up front. Like Venus in Capricorn knows what they want and is willing to wait and be patient to get what they want, okay? So until they find exactly what they want, they are, you know, willing to hold out and sit on the sidelines. And that is, you know, some of the beauty of these Venus and Earth placements, okay? Because they know exactly what they're looking for. Now, they need to know that it's 100% secure. It's 100% locked, or exactly what they need, exactly what they want before committing or going all in. So they have that quality, you know, very much in tune with what Venus and Taurus I was explaining there, okay? So when they do finally commit and go 100% on, they completely open up, okay? So what you have experienced up until that point is just reservation, caution, just kind of like at arm's length. And when they are 100% sure that you are it, you're the one, or they feel 100% safe, they will completely open up. And that's when you see the romance. That's when you see all of these different sides that you didn't even know was there. So they like someone who also shares their love for, goal setting, for ambition. This is kind of how they express their love language. You know what I mean? Like if someone is not, have their sights on something bigger and they're just kind of like, okay, playing small position, that is not going to turn Venus and Capricorn on. It's going to be a quick way to turn them off, okay? This is also a placement that tends to find more security with someone who's a little bit older than them. They just have they like to indulge more in that mature energy, or link up with more of that mature energy. So that's I think it has a lot to do with the responsibility and the kind of the heaviness of the Capricorn energy that it brings in, okay? So in love, as far as expressing love language, some of the things they'll do for you are more on a practical standpoint, okay? So many things will fall into this bucket. They'll, give you practical gifts or items or different things that you can use. But then also, there is also a time where they like splurge and buy luxury items and spoil you. So it's like, it can be on either side. So it's definitely kind of like a Cracker Jack box with Venus and Capricorn, but do expect some practicality to be thrown in there, okay? So the only other thing about this is very much like Venus and Taurus, there is a possessive nature too. It's like, I want to protect, and you know what I mean? So I think it's really about that feminine expression of this energy. It's just like, I want to protect my loved ones. So there can be a possessiveness that also comes in with this as well. Your ideal Venus placement partner is Venus in Scorpio. Going into Venus in Virgo, okay? Now, Venus falls in Virgo, which means it's not expressed well here. With Venus in Virgo, the love language here that is expressed is dedicated. It is pretty dedicated. Supportive, caring, observant, and sensual. So that sensual quality is running through all the earth signs, okay? They're not easy to please, which is why I said they're very picky, okay? They can take a lot of time to settle down due to the fact that in love they're looking for perfection, okay? They're always looking for perfection and have super high standards. Now, I'm not saying you should lower your standards. Everybody should set their standards, set their bar high, and leave it there. But sometimes with the Venus in Virgo energy, it's like, good gosh, you're not being realistic here. This is just like, you're taking perfection to another level, okay? So just something to think about if you are dealing with somebody with this placement, or you're somebody with this placement yourself. It does take them time to open up because they also like to be 100% sure, okay? You need to send them all kinds of like red smoke signals. You need to send them you need to put a banner, with a marching band. You need to send one of those things in the sky with the messages, like, to let them know, like, hey, I'm ready, I'm available, I'm here, I like you, I'm interested, because they don't catch any of that. Like, they need you to spell it out for them and literally say it. Subtle clues and all that type of stuff kind of goes out the window, okay? So once they do make it past that threshold, right, they are highly dedicated, and they expect that in return. So the way they express their love is through dedication, and they want that in return from their partner, okay? So the thing about this Venus placement is that they are likely to stay with someone even past the expiration date and continue to pour into a situation just because of the commitment they made. Like I said, it's highly dedicated. So when it's committed to something, it's committed to something. So that can be great, and it cannot be not so great, because then you don't really pick up on the cues, or you never take the initiative to leave a situation when it is not to your best benefit, okay? So We want to definitely know that that is a part of that love language, okay? But they provide great support and encouragement, and this is a part of the love language. This is how they show and express their love. They also want that love and that support and that encouragement to come back to them, because they need it, because again, back to that insecurity that is carried. And I think, again, it ties back to kind of like a naiveness sometimes that is with this particular energy. So they pay attention to all the details, and they observe and analyze everything about their lover, about their partner, whoever they're with. And sometimes this can lend itself to nitpicking, because what they want to do is like constantly improve everything around them, including people and relationships and their partners. So they're gonna nitpick. It's almost like the more they nitpick you, it's like the more you realize they love you, because most people will take that as, oh my gosh, you're just like pointing out all these things about me that you want to improve. But it's like, that's how their way of showing love. It's very unique, right? Because they're always, again, striving for that level of perfection. So this is really how they're always going to be constantly making suggestions to improve you. They're also attracted to people who are complex, because they like to just, they're analytical. They like to figure things out. They don't want someone who's just kind of bold in your face, always like doing the most. People who are a little bit more reserved, somebody who's a little bit more mysterious, somebody like who, you don't know what's really going on in their thoughts. They want to just sit there and analyze and try to figure you out like a puzzle, right? They also need space. A lot of people don't even recognize this about the Venus in Virgo, but they also need space to be in their thoughts, to think, to analyze. They are great and dedicated and can be with somebody, but they also need a little bit of space to kind of, decompress and tinker and be in their own world sometimes, okay? So the ideal Venus placement for this partner is Venus in Pisces. All right, so we have made it to the final element, which is the water signs, okay? And Venus in the water signs is very beautiful, because this is all about sensitivity, emotional nurturing, and being sentimental. So this is when all the good feels come out with these Venus placements, okay? So let's dive into Venus in Cancer, okay? So Venus in Cancer is very, very nurturing, okay? This is a really nice expression of Venus's energy as well. It's all about security, dependability, comfort, emotional sensitivity, being sentimental, family oriented. Love is expressed mainly through the emotions, okay? This can be a very moody placement for Venus. So like your love language can be very moody. Like one minute you're feeling hot, the next minute you're feeling cold, and and one minute you're feeling emotional, the next minute you're not, and you want to be in your shell. So it's just, your love language is just kind of a constant flow of emotions, and that person who's around you, or your partner, your lover, is definitely going to have to take that into account, okay? This is also a placement that is makes you super sensitive, and you love with your all. Like, you literally just put your all into a relationship where you're just all feet, body, head, everything all in. You just really give it your all. You want to nurture and you want to be nurtured. That is really primarily what the highlight of this energy is in this placement, okay? Nurturing. I want to be nurtured and I want to nurture, okay? They also tend to want to, focus, very family oriented, so want to focus, and a lot of the times with this placement, on creating a family of their own and just pouring into that family and making everything comfortable and cozy for their loved ones, okay? So a lot of times this Venus placement too indicates poor boundaries with other people, because you can kind of become an emotional doormat where people take advantage of your nurturing, compassionate, loving ways, your sensitive ways. This is really a placement you have to watch for codependency issues, and because there is also a kind of a need to want to merge with another under this particular placement. So you also have to watch for people taking advantage, or you know, I hate to say it, but like narcissists would love a Venus in Cancer, you know what I mean? Because of all of the qualities that they bring to the table. They're going to be highly attuned to your feelings. With this placement, the energy is definitely always picking up on everyone else's feelings and very sensitive to that, and wants other people to kind of intuitively sense their feelings as well. Also like sentimental gifts. Anytime you can give a Venus in Cancer sentimental gifts, they'll give you sentimental gifts too. Like just little things that you said, they'll remember and pick up on that and then later surprise you with it. So this is just a really beautiful expression of Venus's energy. And the ideal partner for Venus in Cancer, or the ideal placement, is Venus in Taurus. Okay, all right, so let's get into the next water placement for Venus, and we're talking about Venus in Scorpio. Venus in Scorpio is it's also in detriment here, Venus in this placement. So it's not functioning well in Scorpio. This is not a placement for weak-hearted. Like this is, if you're a light-hearted person and you're weak in certain aspects, this is not the placement that you want to get yourself tied up in, okay? Because this expression of Venus is very intense and mysterious and can also be very possessive, okay? They require deep intimacy, passion, you know, dedication, and they are big on sexual pleasure and possessiveness, which I mentioned earlier is really really real with this placement. So they love hard, they fall hard. I mean, when they fall hard, and they love hard, and they want it to be deep and passionate and intense, and they want you to match that, okay? And go all in and be fully dedicated. If not, don't even entertain it, because you're not gonna like the outcome of it, okay? So just keep moving. If you can't get with it, get lost, all right? So the love here is expressed with most deeply and intensely, okay? So this is Venus's most deeply and intense expression of itself. They like to connect with their partner on the deepest emotional level, and the ability that they have to focus on you solely, like to just focus, like lock in on you, because they just have that ability to do that, because they want to like always go beneath the surface and get to those deeper layers of you. But they also, like I said, want that dedication in return. They want that deep intimacy and connection in return, or they're not interested. So if it's not reciprocated from you to them, right, that all the worst qualities are shown here. So extreme jealousy, possessiveness, control really comes out, and it is not pretty, okay? So, but if you can match their intensity and their devotion and all of that good stuff, you'll find some beautiful, deep intimacy that I'm not gonna say can't, you probably won't experience with the other signs, okay? So the deep levels of intimacy that you can experience with Venus in Taurus, Venus in Scorpio, I'm all over the place right now. And the physical pleasure that they will actually, you know, bring to you is going to be well worth it. You know what I mean? Like, that is the trade-off. It's like, yeah, you can be taking a gamble and you can get the bad side of the coin, but you can also get the good side of the coin, and the good side of the coin is really good, okay? So that is definitely what you want to keep in mind for the expression of the Venus in Scorpio. I keep wanting to say Taurus. Venus in Scorpio and that love language, okay? They will give you 100% loyalty. Hands down, okay? And they have a quality of darkness and mysteriousness that's really attractive to a lot of other people. It's easy for them to control others with this placement. So they are someone you gotta watch for. And if you have this, you know, placement, I'm sure you use it to your advantage in certain situations. So the ambitiousness also of this Venus placement makes this an ideal match for Venus in Capricorn. Moving on to our last Venus placement, and this is the most romantic Venus placement of all. So this is my second favorite Venus placement after Venus in Taurus, and we're talking about Venus in Pisces, okay? And Venus is exalted in Pisces, so it's just going to function really, really well here and express all of its wonderful qualities. So this is, like I said, the super romantic energy out of all. This is the feely feels of all feely feels, okay? So this energy here is sensitive, romantic, affectionate, caring, compassionate, and it's just like that unconditional love, okay? And this is how they expect to receive their love as well, okay? So the love here is expressed in your dreaminess or romantic nature. It's all about feeling their way through relationships and people and allowing that to dictate their actions. Instead of being in their head about situations when it comes to love, it's really about, what does my heart say? What do I feel? You know what I mean? And that's what they kind of run with, okay? Their love, ideally love for them is both given and received unconditionally. They enjoy really caring for others by they like taking on projects. They like taking on people who are a little bit, you know, got a little bit of mess going on that they can help through a situation. That's when they can pour into someone. They just love that. And, you know, they like people to pour into them as well. So they're just doing what they want others to do for them, okay? They can have poor boundaries like Venus in Cancer. So that's also, you know, another prime food source for narcissists, okay? So yeah, be careful if you have this placement. They love all things sentimental and sweet and thoughtful, and will give you and express love and give you gifts and stuff like that in the same manner, okay? So gifts, like things that are momentum, things that they have saved, a little flower that, you know, that blew past their feet the first time that you met is probably in a collection box somewhere. Like, that is literally how it goes, right? They will turn everything into a romantic moment, and often lost in a state of dreaminess, as they need constant reassurance about stuff, because they're just kind of like, la in fantasy land, la 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 la. Like, you know, this is, like I said, it's a dreamy romantic expression of Venus's energy. What this makes them paired well with is Venus in Virgo. Why? Because Venus in Virgo needs to help them balance out the extremes, okay? So Venus in Virgo and Venus in Pisces definitely should link up. They need each other. They definitely need each other, okay? So that is Venus in the water and the earth signs. I hope you learned something from that about your own expression of love, how you like to give and receive love, and just other people's love languages, understanding that based off of their Venus placement. If you have not seen the other side of this video, which is a Venus in the in the air and fire signs, then go ahead and watch that video as well, okay? So I will see you all in the next one. Have a good one. Peace.